Shivani.
Aditya, I'll request you to please stay on with us as we'd like your inputs on this other story that we are tracking. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has now slammed the Republic of South Africa in a social media post. Rubio has tweeted, and I quote, "The United States is forging ahead with a new G20. South Africa operated with spite, division and radical agendas that failed to produce economic growth. America's G20 will propel US forward with innovation, entrepreneurship and perseverance that will make America great and provide a roadmap of prosperity to the world. We are ready to lead the way in Miami. Remember, South Africa earlier refused to go along with the handover ceremony at the G20 summit." So Aditya, obviously we had seen that this whole G20 summit that had been organized last month, US boycotted it, and now it is stating that when this G20 summit will be held in Miami in US, they will give it a new direction.
Well, absolutely. Marco Rubio has hit out at the South African leadership, and he has gone on to say on the social media that rather than take responsibility for its failings, the radical African National Congress-led South African government has sought to scapegoat its own citizens and the United States. As President Trump has rightly highlighted, the South African government's appetite for racism and tolerance for violence against its African citizens have become embedded as core domestic policy, with being intent on enriching itself while the country's economy limps along, all while South Africans are subject to violence, discrimination and land confiscation without compensation. Its former ambassador to the United States was openly hostile to America. Its relationship with Iran, its entertainment of Hamas sympathizers, and causing to America's greatest adversary moved it from the family of nations we once called close. The politics of divides carried over to South Africa's presidency of the G20 this month, which was an exercise in spite, division and racial agendas that have nothing to do with the economic growth. Shivani.
All right, Aditya, please do stay on with us. In fact, United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio has now said that radical Islamic movements pose a grave threat not only to the United States but also to the entire world, saying that their aim is to expand and not merely to occupy one part of the world. Speaking to a US media channel, Rubio said, and I quote, "Radical Islam has shown that their desire is not simply to occupy one part of the world and be happy with their own little caliphate. They want to expand. It's revolutionary in its nature. It seeks to expand and control more territories and more people. That's a clear and imminent threat to the world and to the broader West." This comes after an Afghan national actually opened fire on 2 National Guard members near the White House. So Aditya, we are seeing this statement from the US Secretary of State. He is stating that radical Islam movements are posing a great threat not just to the West but also to the world.
Well, absolutely. Time and again, Marco Rubio is now, similarly is following what U.S. President Donald Trump has often, subscribed to. If you see the earlier statements of U.S. President Donald Trump, he has said that, the radical Islam is a danger to the world, and this is what is being reiterated by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Specifically in this regard, recently, a man who opened fire outside the on the National Guard in the Washington D.C. further, has raised national security concerns. After which, U.S. President Donald Trump openly said that radical Islam is posing to how it poses a danger, and it needs to be seen, how things unfold in this scenario. Shivani.
All right. Thank you so much, Aditya, for all those details on that story. With this is a wrap on this bulletin. We'll see you on the other side of this commercial.